Our top story tonight. Today marks 1 year since police found a missing Michigan woman's body inside a fertilizer tank on property belonging to her husband. Now, he's charged with murder and is scheduled to go on trial next year. Megan Hartnett sat down with her family 1 year after the disturbing discovery.
After years of searches through marshes and acres of land, with cadaver dogs and ground-penetrating radar, Dee Warner's body was found in a tank on a property owned by her husband, Dale Warner, in August of last year.
It was certainly tough for the family to face my sister's remains in a man-made tomb.
Dee's family's priority hasn't changed since then. Greg Hardy, Dee's brother, says the goal is to bring the case to trial in search of justice.
You can bring that to some closure with a celebration of life, a burial, whatever. And in this particular case, it doesn't come to an end because we're still waiting and waiting.
Dale Warner was charged with Dee's murder in November of 2023, and in June of 2024, a judge determined that there was enough evidence for the case to go to trial. After Dee's remains were found in August of 2024, Dale has appeared in court since for hearings, but the trial originally scheduled for September has been delayed to January of next year.
It's just been a very, very long journey. And it isn't over yet. When you have the legal maneuvering that just delays and delays and delays.
Jaron Warner, Dale's son, was also arrested and charged with accessory after the fact and tampering with evidence in March of this year. But those charges were eventually dropped. Court records say it was because authorities were unable to locate and serve a necessary witness. Despite the delays and changes, Hardy says the goal is still justice, no matter how hard it may be.
All this time is always agonizing. You know, it is waiting for the next shoe to drop, waiting for anticipating what may or may not take place.
Megan is joining us here in studio. Megan, we just heard this. It's hard to believe it's been 1 year already since Dee's body was found. You were actually called up to Lenawee County to cover this story the day of. What do you remember from that day?
I mean, it was a Sunday. I remember getting the call and coming in and immediately reaching out to the family. I went up to Lenawee County. I spoke with Greg Hardy, Dee's brother, and you know, I think at that point for him, he was still in shock. But he did say right away, he said, because the body hadn't been identified yet as Dee's, they still hadn't done the autopsy yet, but he said, you know, I know it's her. I also spoke with Catherine, the family friend who had very similar feelings and even went to the property where her body was found. And I mean, there wasn't as much activity going on there, but I think for the family and the friends, I mean, it was 3 years of waiting and not even knowing if they were going to get these answers. And then to finally have it, I think it took a while to just process it on that day.
It has been a long, grueling 3 years for the family. And they've said this whole time is justice for Dee. That's kind of been their slogan. Justice has kind of been delayed for the family in a way with this trial. Can you talk about all the obstacles that have happened in the court system?
I mean, some of this has been going on from the beginning. One of the biggest things for them was being able to declare her legally dead because they didn't have her body. And they were prepared to go to trial without a body and just see what happened. I mean, they felt that there was enough evidence. Police felt there was enough evidence. You know, the case also switched hands from the sheriff's office to the Michigan State Police. There just felt like there was continued delays. And, you know, they finally found her body. And even over this past year, though, there's been more delays as the trial was originally scheduled to start next month. But now it's been pushed back to January. And there's just been small things like that for the family, especially Greg, her brother, you know, he talks about just the amount of time that has been put into this. And he says, you know, that's the hardest part, I think, of all of it. For him, at least.
Of course, yeah. Megan Hartnett on this story pretty much since Dee's body has been found. Thank you for joining us tonight in studio. We will continue to follow the story of Dee as this follows through the legal system.